I'm going to do this a little chart. This is on astro mind reading, and very often what I would do, and it only takes 2 minutes to really do it. I could take somebody's day and month of birth, which is the achievement, and add it up to the current year, and put it into a little chart, and give almost a mind reading like type of reading. I've done this recently, and the person thought I was reading their mind or being telepathic or something, because I'll start telling them what's happening around them. And if you know how to read the different houses and the numbers in the houses, which I'm going to go into several videos about, it's unbelievable the amount of information that you can come up with that really keys into somebody's life. And they think you're mind reading or you're telepathic, but actually you're doing the planets and you're doing a good job with it, and it's an amazing thing. Now, let's say we have the birthday February 19th, 1981. For the purposes of finding out what cycle somebody's in, you only use the achievement, which is the month and the day. So it's 2 plus 19 equals 21. And if you were going for 2017, it's a 1 year, so that would make it a 22. So before on some of the other tapes, you put a 22-4, and you add the numbers down, a 6 and a 4, and it gives you the inverted pyramid on the year. But also in astronumerology, which is astro mind reading, you start putting all the ones. Now we're going to use the day, the month, and the year for the purposes of putting the planets into the various houses. Now this is the way the houses run. The first, the second, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth house. So if somebody's in a 22-4 year, all the ones that they have, which is 3 ones, it's the 1 of the 19 and the 2 ones that are 1981, 3 ones go in the 4th house because they're in a 4 year, 22-4 year. You put the 2s in the 5th house. No 6s, no 7s, no 8s. Okay, it's 2, no 3s, no 4s, no 5s, no 6s, no 7s, 1 8, and 2 9s. So you're following it from this point on: the 4th house, the 5th house, the 6th house, 7th house, 8th house, etc. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you're doing the natural order, starting here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it depends on the starting point. Now we're looking at a chart, and we're saying there's 3 ones in the 4th house. That means with a job or an activity, there's a lot happening with the money matter. Now, the one initially, when you put it in the 4th house, represents the person being read or yourself, depending on if you're reading yourself. Now, what's changing? The 5th house represents change. What's changing is something about a partner. Now, let's look for the 2nd house, which is the house of partners. Money's changing with a partner, and there's some kind of change or travel decision with a partner that has financial realignment or financial consequences. So this is how you're doing the reading. You're seeing the 2s in the 5 house, and what's in the 2nd house, which is partners. 2 represents partners, females, or emotions. And if you see something in that the 2 is in the 5th house, which is the house of Mercury, and there's a conversation about a change or a trip going on, and there's financial consequences with a partner or a female, that gives you an indication. There's a big decision around a work or an activity, which is the 4th house, and because the 4th house represents Uranus, the planet Uranus, there's some opposition to it. And the 4th house is loaded, and what we have is 3 zeros going up the house of activity. That means the person can't do what they want. and they're making a lot of decisions, and there's some challenge around a family or personal situation because the sixth house has a 0 in it. And the third house, which is has to do with young people, friends, social situations, and also siblings. So that's what 3 represents: young people, siblings, children, and social situations. So there's a lot of discussion and decisions because you have 2 9s there with the third house. A lot of decisions and trying to get something finished or done with, and a lot of financial decisions around a partner. A person feels like they can't take any action on things because they're not in control. And they have a lot of willpower and determination, but there's a family problem going on that's stopping them from doing something. Now, that what they're suspicious of, because these 2, there's the line of suspicion, is something to do with either a job or a health matter or some educational matter. And this is how we're reading the chart. Now, when we read it down here, the first 3 months of the year, they get the assistance or association of important or well-known people. There's a big question on who they want to associate with, which is the 42. Between March and June is something about a side job or activity or some part-time thing or something they do on the side. They're in contact with somebody from their past, which is the 46, and they're trying to straighten out some money or paper matter going on. The middle of the year, the apex of the year, has to do with they either get more independence or recognition because there's a 1. Possibly the middle of the year, because it's a 21, could bring a plane flight. And also there's something about sharing their time, effort, or concern with somebody. From June through September, giving up one activity for another, there could be some problem or departure or separation of some kind with a male, even if the male is like going away. There's a realignment of finances from September through December. And somebody from the past visits or sees them or gets in touch, because instead of the 46, it's the 64. So now we've done some kind of a reading in a couple of minutes, and we used the astronumerology. We also used the inverted triangle, and we came up with the achievement plus the year 2017, and then we put, because they're in a 4 cycle, we started all the 1s in the 4, the 2s in the 5, the 3s, of which there was none, and the 6s, the 4s and the 7, there was none, and the 5s and the 8s and so forth. And then all these houses were loaded, and this had nothing. And they're not suspicious of a partner in changes with a financial matter, but other than that, other than a partner, they don't feel in control of things, because the only line of strength has to do with a partner, and apparently has something to do with finances and trying to get something finished. And it could involve children or siblings, a younger person, or a group of people, or a social situation. But this is how you do a reading. I wanted to put it together, but remember, these are the natural houses. When you're in a cycle, like a 4 cycle, you start putting all your 1s. There's 3 1s here in the 4th house, and the 2s goes in the 5th house, because you start at the 4th house. This is the natural order, and then you swing back here, and so forth and so on. But this is astro mind reading. It also tells you what's happening in somebody's life, and it really gives a bird's eye view real quick.